Hi, crafters, and welcome to Finish It Friday, episode 199. So here's where we left off on Wednesday. We have our base card. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We have our 5.5 by 1.5 DSP or cardstock. This happens to be Berry Burst, and that is done with that Swirls of Magic embossing folder. We also have a piece of Melon Mambo. This is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. We have a piece of Bubble Bath. This is 2 by 3. Then we have 2 strips of the Bubble Bath that are 5.5 by 1/4. All right, I'm not using any DSP Designer Series paper this time. Can you believe it? Okay, anyway, what we're going to do is I am going to incorporate those 3 colors, since these colors are they're kind of sisters or in the same family, but they are very distinct. So I have the 3 stamp pads here, and I think I'm going to use this for my background. And I think I am going to use Nature Symphony. Now, I hope this is still available. I didn't look before I got on, but I'm hoping it is. It is a 7-piece stamp set, and it is a 7-piece die set. And what we're going to do is we're going to just do a little bit of a background. Originally, I was planning on using our 12 by 12 masks, but I thought it'd be nice to incorporate a stamp set this time. All right, so from this stamp set, we are going to use this, and then I think we're going to use this. I'm not positive. We'll see how it looks. So I'm going to take this background stamp, and this is going to be in the Bubble Bath, because this is going to be our light background. All right, so let's go ahead, grab out that Bubble Bath. We're just going to lightly, I'm just barely touching it to the surface. Just kind of making random little marks all over, kind of turning that stamp every now and then, just so there's some different movement on that stamp as we're stamping down. All right, let me bring that up so you can see we just have a very light background. Then we're going to bring out, I'm thinking, because I want to do this kind of like a book binding, but not quite. So I think I want to do this with just a little bit of an edge, or a little bit in between there. And then we're going to do this across this way. So I think I want to have this larger leaf branch. I think I want to do that. You have to be careful when you're taking this off. There's a lot of small little parts that could rip. So I think I kind of want to, because I want to put this, try and figure if I want to put this higher up or lower down. I think I'm going to have this a little bit more down in this corner. All right, so let me get my bigger block. Trying to make sure that it's in its natural shape. I am going to do this one in Berry Burst, but we're going to stamp off once. So make sure you have these sorted down, because I'm going to use this to stamp it off once. Oh, it's kind of loud, sorry. All right, I didn't get on that very edge there. All right, so I have that pretty well inked up. I'm going to take it off once. And I'm going to bring it down here in that corner. So it's still a little dark, but not as dark as it would have been over here. All right, let's go ahead and glue this down. Oh, sorry for the sniffling. You know, we started off the week. Our feel like temperature on Monday was 17 degrees above what our actual temperature was. So our actual temperature on Monday was 85 degrees. And the feels like was 102. And then the tornadoes came through. Not through Bolingbrook, but there were some. In fact, my son, he works about 20 miles away from our house. They had to shelter in place at their workplace because there was straight line winds that went through where he works. So then the storms came through and lots and lots of rain. We had flash flooding. And now the temperatures are still in that 80-degree range, but the humidity is it's just horrible when you walk out. It just like hits you right in the face. But anyway, all right, enough being said about that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put glue on these strips. I'm going to let them get tacky. That way it's going to be easier for me to place them. Of course, I want upside down. Where's my... So yeah, so anyway, so such weather changes, of course, that's going to affect my sinuses. So my nose, I just can't even get it cleared out. All right. Those will be the two strips. Okay. Give those a second. I'm also going to, I'm not going to let's go ahead and do our greeting now. So if I use this same Nature Symphony, I think I will use the You Make Me Smile. But since there's a lot left there, I'm going to take this smaller branch. And I think I'll do that in the Melon Mambo, because it's going to be backed against the Melon Mambo. Again, oh my gosh, this one doesn't want to open. Again, I am going to, let me grab a block. I'm going to stamp this off once too. In fact, I might even do it twice. Oh, it's not a very strong color. Well, it probably is. It probably just, my pad needs re-inking. So let's do one. Let's do two. Let's just put that third generation on there. So you see it's a very light, but it does take up some of that empty space. All right. Let me grab my You Make Me Smile. We're going to do that with Secret C. Of course, this is what I use as my new black. It isn't in color, so it potentially will retire at the end of April of 2027. Now I say potentially because if by any chance we have a color refresh, which Stampin' Up! Does do every 3 to 5 years, maybe they'll bring it into the lineup. I could see it replacing Basic Gray. All right, so there's the You Make Me Smile. All right, I think we're ready to put this together. Let's go ahead. I will go ahead and put this straight down with the glue on it. I need to fill up my bottle. I filled up the bottle on my desk, but I haven't filled up my bottle here at my standing counter. So let's put that there. I think these are ready to come down now. I was looking a second ago for my little spacers, but I don't know where they're at. So we're just going to visually put this down with just a little bit of that cardstock underneath peeking through. Oh, remember I said I thought that these were a little shorter than my cardstock, and they are. Oops, and I got some glue on that side for my glass mat. So you know what? I will bring this more up, and that's where we'll cover up that little glue area with my square. So that looks good. Let's pop this up. Get out my dimensionals. Now remember, when I get my dimensionals, I take clear packing tape and put it over that top layer so it grabs the dimensional backings so you don't have them all over your floor, and this is sticky then, ready to go. So that's just what I do because I don't like seeing those backings all over the place. The only thing is that when you peel them up, then they are already sticky, so you want to make sure that you lay them down, I guess, in the correct area that you want them. Giving a little more bulk in the middle of this so it stands up pretty good. Put that away. Let's go ahead place that down. Sorry, just getting all my little glue and pieces put back. So there you have it. There's our card for today using these dimensions. Let me show you the other cards that I did. Now this one is kind of along the same lines. Instead of having the tubes side by side, I had them on either side of that strip. So it looks like we actually had another full layer underneath there. I did the speckle background with my blends. And these stamps I used, let me see if I can find it really quick. Not from Greenery Lane. Sorry. Use Greenery Lane on my other examples. So today's example was Nature Symphony. The ones that I did since Wednesday were using Greenery Lane. All right. And so there's, like I said, this one where I have that on either side of that strip. Here, since we already had the 4" strips, I took the Designer Series paper, the 5.5 by 1.5, and I cut those all into 4" strip, 1/4" strips, and just did either side on that DSP to create that diagonal background, cut off the extra, and then added just some plain antique pearls at the top and bottom to kind of fill out that space. All right, guys, there's your cards for today's dimensions. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to give me that thumbs up, share on your social media, subscribe if you haven't already. I've lost some subscribers, so I hope I haven't upset anyone, but please subscribe if you haven't already so that you get an update or a notification that I have uploaded a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, next week is our 200th special. So things will be a little different. You'll still have your dimensions, but more about that next Wednesday. And if you placed your order in time to get the special packet, have that ready to go, and we'll start creating in next week on Wednesday. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.